What would you do if the sun didn't rise for 30 straight days? No light, no escape, and worst of all, no one coming to help. Now imagine something ancient, something hungry, hiding in that darkness. Welcome to Barrow, Alaska, a town swallowed by the Arctic winter where the sun vanishes for a full month. In this terrifying environment, a nightmare unfolds, one where survival depends on silence, shadows, and sacrifice. Today, we're diving deep into the blood-soaked snow of 30 Days of Night, a horror thriller that redefined vampire cinema. This is not your usual tale of charming vampires and haunted castles. No, this is pure survival horror, raw, brutal, and full of dread. In this video, you'll learn the real story behind Barrow and why its setting makes the horror hit harder. How this film gave vampires a terrifying makeover. No romance, just predators. What makes the characters' choices so tragic and so unforgettable? And some hidden details you probably missed, including a surprising method of sacrifice that flips the typical hero arc on its head. We'll also uncover why this film still sends chills down viewers' spines, even years after its release, and what made horror fans call it one of the scariest vampire movies ever made. So stick around till the very end, because this story isn't just about monsters in the dark, it's about what people become when the light disappears. This is Movies Review, your home for deep dives into chilling thrillers and horror classics. If you're into haunting stories, shocking twists, and dark truths behind your favorite films, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss a breakdown. Now, let's step into the darkness, where the sun won't rise for 30 days. Barrow, Alaska, a place so remote, so far north, that for 30 days every winter, the sun vanishes completely. That's not just fiction, that's a real phenomenon. In this icy wilderness, the cold bites harder than anywhere else. And once the light disappears, it doesn't come back until the calendar says so. In 30 Days of Night, this natural occurrence becomes the perfect nightmare fuel. Barrow isn't just cold, it's cut off. When the last plane leaves before the long night begins, there are no roads, no rescue, and no way out. You're either gone or trapped. The townspeople know this well. Every year, most of them pack up and leave before the darkness arrives, but some always stay behind. Some stay for work, others out of habit, and a few, like the local sheriff, Eben Olsen, because it's their job to keep the town safe, even in the dark. The film sets up this tension slowly but effectively. We see the isolation, the biting wind, and the silence creeping in as the sun sets for the final time. There's no music swelling to warn us, something that waits for the light to go out and for the town to be completely alone. It's a brilliant setup. No dramatic explosions or fast-paced openings, just nature doing what it always does and a town going about its business. But beneath it all is a rising dread, a feeling that this winter will be different, that something is lurking out there in the snow, watching, waiting. And when that first night falls, the nightmare begins. The real horror begins when a stranger arrives just before the final sunset. He's dirty, wild-eyed, and speaks in riddles. But his warning is clear. They're coming. No one believes him, of course. How could they? Barrow has always had its weird moments, but what he says sounds insane. The stranger is arrested, but his words linger in the back of the sheriff's mind. Then, things start to spiral. All the town's sled dogs are slaughtered. The satellite phones are destroyed. The power grid is sabotaged. Slowly but surely, Barrow is being cut off not just from the outside world, but from any hope of survival. The pieces fall into place with horrifying precision. And that's when the vampires arrive. They don't come in capes, they don't sparkle. These creatures are ancient, monstrous, and ruthless. They speak in their own language, clicking and screeching, and when they strike, it's brutal and fast. People are dragged into the snow, blood covers the white streets. The town turns into a feeding ground. The survivors scatter, hiding in attics, storage rooms, and anywhere they can find cover. Days pass in terror. Each sound could mean discovery. Each breath must be silent. Sheriff Eben becomes the reluctant leader, doing whatever it takes to keep those left alive together. Food runs low, trust runs thinner. People begin to break. As the days drag on and hope fades, Eben makes a shocking decision. He injects himself with infected blood, becoming one of them, just long enough to fight back. In the final moments, he confronts the vampire leader, sacrificing himself to save the others. As the sun finally rises after 30 days of night, Eben dies in his wife's arms, turning to ash with the dawn. It's not just a story about survival, it's about what people will do when the rules of the world fall away, when darkness swallows the light, and only fear remains. Most vampire stories follow the same formula: an ancient count in a castle, a charming monster blending into society, or a tragic figure longing for lost humanity. But 30 Days of Night throws all that out the window. These vampires don't love, they don't negotiate, they don't feel guilt. They are predators, pure and simple. And Barrow, Alaska, is their perfect hunting ground. What sets this film apart is its brutal realism. The vampires are not elegant or seductive, they are animalistic. Their black eyes and blood-covered mouths tell you everything you need to know. When they feed, it's messy, savage, and terrifying. They move fast, strike without warning, and leave nothing behind. You don't get a moment to breathe, and neither do the characters. The setting plays a huge role in what makes the film so disturbing. The endless night adds a constant layer of fear. There's no waiting for sunrise, there's no escape into daylight. The survivors are trapped in total darkness, where every corner could hide a monster. The snow muffles sound, and the cold paralyzes the body, both perfect tools for building suspense. The tone of the movie is also unlike most mainstream horror. It's relentlessly bleak. There's no comic relief, no love story to soften the blow. It's raw survival, with characters breaking under pressure, making impossible choices. That weight, that sense of hopelessness, is what makes the film so intense. You're not just watching people fight vampires, you're watching them lose pieces of themselves with each passing day. In short, 30 Days of Night doesn't try to glamorize horror. It strips it down, drenches it in blood, and sets it loose in the dark. And that's exactly why it's unforgettable. From the moment the sun sets in Barrow, the film wraps you in a cold blue shadow. The visuals are stunning in a haunting way. Snow covers everything, but instead of feeling peaceful, it feels dangerous, like something waiting to be disturbed. The blood splashed on the white ground becomes more than a scare tactic. It becomes a visual symbol of horror cutting through silence. The camera work often feels shaky, up close, and invasive. During the attacks, the lens doesn't pull away. It follows the chaos. You're not watching from a safe distance. You're right in the middle of the screaming, the blood, and the madness. That style gives the movie a documentary-like feel, raw, messy, and real. Lighting is used brilliantly to create tension. Darkness creeps into every scene. Flashlights flicker, streetlights die. The only light left is often from fires or flares, casting eerie shadows across snow-covered ruins. The absence of light becomes its own kind of monster, one that hides worse things within it. And the sound design. Absolutely chilling. The vampires don't talk much, but when they do, it's in sharp, screeching tones that hit your nerves like nails on glass. Their language sounds ancient and alien. Add to that the silence between attacks, heavy, cold silence that feels louder than any scream, and you've got a film that knows exactly how to keep your heart racing. Even the music isn't used the usual way. Instead of swelling soundtracks, the score creeps in slowly, almost unnoticed, until it's all around you. It builds pressure without release, keeping you on edge, scene after scene. Together, the visuals and sound design make 30 Days of Night feel like a full-body experience. You don't just watch the horror, you feel it, you hear it, you're swallowed by it. One of the strongest elements of 30 Days of Night is its cast. These aren't flashy performances, but that's what makes them work so well. Every character feels grounded, real people reacting to an unreal situation. There's no superhero here, just broken people trying to survive. At the center of it all is Josh Hartnett, playing Eben Olsen, the town's young sheriff. He's not a loud leader or a hardened warrior. He's quiet, cautious, and carries a deep sense of responsibility for his town. As things begin to fall apart, you can see the weight crushing him. His choices get harder, his face gets colder, but he never gives up, even when he knows the outcome. Melissa George plays Stella, Eben's estranged wife, who returns to town on official duty just before the darkness hits. Their relationship adds quiet tension to the chaos around them. They're not openly emotional, but every shared glance carries history. As the situation worsens, their bond slowly rebuilds, not through words, but through shared struggle. It's subtle, but powerful. And then there's the vampire leader, Emile. Portrayed with chilling calmness and raw menace. He doesn't speak English. He doesn't need to. Every motion, every cold glance feels like death itself. He commands the screen without overacting. His presence alone is terrifying. The supporting cast includes people from all walks of Barrow life: a teenager, a tech worker, a grandmother, a dog handler. While some don't get deep story arcs, their performances still feel honest. Fear, grief, panic, it's all there in their expressions, in their silence. This isn't a movie that gives time for grand monologues or forced emotion. The terror keeps moving. And under that pressure, the characters reveal who they really are. Some rise, some fall. All of them feel like they could be real people, and that's exactly why the stakes feel so high. When someone dies, it hurts. There's a reason. 30 Days of Night stands out in a genre packed with vampire stories. It breaks the mold, it goes for the throat, and it doesn't let up. One of its biggest strengths is its original concept. A town thrown into 30 days of darkness becomes the perfect hunting ground. It's a simple idea, but once you hear it, you wonder why no one did it before. The setting is another major strength. Barrow isn't just a backdrop, it's part of the threat. The snow, the wind, the freezing cold, it all adds to the hopelessness. There's no safe space, no sunshine coming to save you. Even without vampires, surviving in that environment would be hard. With them, it's almost impossible. The vampires themselves are unforgettable. No capes, no charm, just pure hunger. They're fast, violent, and move like a pack of wolves. They're not trying to seduce you, they're trying to eat you. The way they communicate through sharp screeches and eerie glances makes them feel like a different species altogether. You don't pity them, you fear them. The pacing also works in its favor. The movie wastes no time getting under your skin. It builds slowly, but once the darkness hits, it turns relentless. Every scene adds more tension, more danger. There's always a sense that things could get worse, and they do. And then, the emotional weight. That final act isn't just action, it's sacrifice. When Eben decides to inject himself to fight back, it's not a cliché heroic move, it's tragic. He knows he'll die, he does it anyway. It hits hard because the film earned that moment. It didn't force it. This is horror that doesn't just scare, it sticks with you. You remember the dread, the silence, the snow turning red, and most of all, the people who fought to survive when the sun refused to rise. While 30 Days of Night is a standout in many ways, it's not without flaws. Some viewers found parts of the movie frustrating or uneven, and they're not wrong. One of the biggest issues is weighed character depth. While the main roles are strong, many of the supporting characters feel underdeveloped. We don't always know who they are beyond their roles in the town. When some of them die, it doesn't always carry the emotional weight it could have because we didn't really get to know them. It's a missed opportunity, especially in a survival story where every life should matter. Another weakness is pacing in the middle stretch. The first act builds well and the ending lands strong, but some parts in the middle can feel repetitive. A lot of time is spent hiding in attics or waiting in silence. While that builds atmosphere, it can also drag. Some viewers may start to feel the length, especially when nothing major happens for several minutes at a time. Visually, the movie's dedication to darkness is both a strength and a weakness. Some scenes are so dimly lit that it's hard to tell what's happening. The shaky camera style, especially during action, makes some moments confusing. You know something horrible is going on, but it's not always clear who is where or what's happening. That can pull viewers out of the experience. Lastly, there are a few horror cliches sprinkled in, like the stranger who warns of danger and gets ignored, or the last-minute sacrifice. While the film handles these better than most, seasoned horror fans might feel like they've seen some of these beats before. Still, none of these issues ruin the experience. They just keep the movie from reaching perfection. But for what it sets out to do, deliver a chilling, original vampire survival story, it succeeds far more than it stumbles. When 30 Days of Night hit theaters, it didn't just scare people, it made them talk. Horror fans were quick to praise its raw energy and brutal take on vampires. It wasn't just another creature feature, it was a bold, blood-soaked story that gave the genre a shot of something fresh. Fans especially loved the design of the vampires. No fangs and cloaks, no mysterious love interests. These creatures were monsters through and through. Their pale skin, black eyes, and animalistic behavior felt new and terrifying. Even today, many horror lovers say these are some of the best on-screen vampires ever created. The setting also became a talking point. People were fascinated by the real-life idea of 30 days without sunlight. It added a believable, terrifying layer that grounded the film. Barrow, Alaska became a character in itself, a place fans would never want to visit in winter. Online forums and horror communities still discuss the film years later. Some say it's underrated, others wish it had a bigger franchise. There were sequels and spin-offs, but none captured the raw energy of the original. That speaks volumes. The movie's emotional ending left an impact too. Many viewers weren't expecting such a tragic conclusion. It wasn't about a happy escape, it was about sacrifice, and that stuck with people. The image of Eben turning to ash in his wife's arms became an unforgettable moment in horror cinema. Over time, 30 Days of Night has earned a reputation as a modern cult classic. It's the kind of movie that people recommend when they're tired of safe, polished horror, the kind you revisit when you want to feel scared all over again. At its core, 30 Days of Night is a film about desperation, survival, and how far people will go to protect what matters. It strips away the glamour of vampire myths and replaces it with terror that feels sharp, cold, and real. The concept is clever, the setting unforgettable, and the execution raw and thrilling. Yes, it has flaws, some pacing issues, some thin characters, but the overall experience is gripping. It's the kind of horror that burrows under your skin and stays there. You feel the isolation, you feel the cold, and you feel the fear of being hunted when the rules of the world no longer apply. This isn't a film about hope, it's about what happens when hope is gone, and that makes it powerful. If you're looking for something fresh, brutal, and original, 30 Days of Night is absolutely worth your time. Just don't watch it in the dark. So now the question is, could you survive 30 Days of Night? No sun, no help, no way out, just endless darkness, and monsters hunting you in the snow. Would you hide in silence? Would you fight back? Or would fear get to you first? Let us know in the comments, what would you do if you were trapped in Barrow? And while you're at it, tell us your favourite vampire film foray or most intense survival horror story. We'd love to hear which movies left you sleeping with the lights on. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more chilling stories, shocking endings, and unforgettable characters, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Movies Review. We've got more horror, thrillers, and twisted tales coming your way, so hit that bell icon to never miss a moment. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the scariest things don't come at night. They are the night.